are watching the Hub Network. The Studio Show. People, community, progress. Here is your host, Joe Kennedy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. I am Joe Kennedy, and welcome to the Studio Show on this Wednesday, March 1st. March 1st. I wish it felt more like spring. It's not bad out there.
It's not too bad.
Kind of nice.
It's in the 50s. So.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So in studio today, we have Amy Hedges, and we're going to get into everything that she does. And there's quite a laundry list. We were just kind of talking about that. She's got a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to get into what that is here in just a minute. But want to say we hope that I haven't heard what the Stuckey Family Benefit concert was able to do on the 26th, but we hope that went well for them, and I hope they're benefited the family, and I hope they're getting along okay. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to their family as well this week. Also tonight we have the candidates forum coming up today too. It's a busy day here at the Studio Show, so both candidates will be in this afternoon. We will pre-record those sessions, and then it will go live tonight about 6 o'clock, and we hope that the voting public Cushing will tune in and hear the stances on the each candidate and a lot of questions. J.D. Meisner from the Cushing Citizen will be here as well asking questions, and so we look forward to that this evening. Again, that's tonight at 6 o'clock. Those will be played back in real time live just as they are recorded this afternoon. So we look forward to those things. Also, John Favalora could not be with us for the second half of the show today. He had an urgent business meeting that came up, and so he had to attend that. And so I asked Amy if she would stay over and help us out, and we'll just talk. She's got so many things to talk about. We figured we'd just cover more stuff. So, but when we come back here in just a minute, we're gonna get started with all that. Amy, thank you for being in the studio. Thanks for coming over, making the trip, and we look forward to hearing about the 100-mile garage sale tour. I'll get all that right. I get all that correct. Right. It took me a while to kind of get all that lingo down, but we're going to hear what that is and what she's been doing with that and how long she's been doing it and all that kind of stuff here in just a little bit. So stay with us. We'll be right here back on the Studio Show.
We'll be right back.
The Studio Show is brought to you in part by Stillwater Transfer and Storage and AAA Self-Storage. Welcome to the Music Loop. Always wanted to be a better musician? Learn the piano or keyboard? For only $10, you can join our pre-lesson event and find out if the Music Loop is right for you. Learn to play any song in any key, accompany a vocalist, or play with a band. Follow us on Facebook. The Music Loop. Putting you in music.
At Davis Dental Studio, our patients are our friends. Unlike the big commercial facilities, Davis Dental Studios wants you to know you're not just a number. We strive to bring personal and quality service to each patient. Dr. Rebecca Davis has over 18 years of experience as a caring and compassionate dentist. She and her highly trained staff will make sure your visit is a positive one. So remember, when you and your family need dental care, Davis Dental Studio. You're not just a patient, you're a friend.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Bank of Cushing, a branch of Blue Sky Bank Pawhuska, wants you to know they are still the same friendly hometown bank. Local people that live, work, and worship right here in Cushing. Providing you the same great service, more convenient products and technology, making your local banking experience even better. A great bank, serving a great community. Bank of Cushing, a branch of Blue Sky Bank Pawhuska.
Since 2003, Pro Events has had one singular focus: great audio, video, and lighting systems. Never confusing our industry with the PC crowd, Pro Events always provides you with the best, most reliable options for your house of worship, school, or corporate training facility. Make your system stand out from the crowd. And remember,
for the best AV, you know where to go. Visit proevents.pro.
The Studio Show is brought to you in part by still water transfer and storage, and AAA self-storage.
All right, we are back here on the studio show. Thank you for being with us. I'm going to get all this stuff down. Yeah, I keep kind of changing my whole plan on what I'm doing here from week to week, and so bear with me a little bit while we kind of get things. There we go. That's a huge picture and a huge head on the screen. But anyway, Amy, you'll be up there in just a minute.
Great.
So Amy is the founder of. You are the founder of the 100 mile. Let's see if I get all this right. The 100 mile garage sale tour. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. And tell us a little bit about what that is.
So about 13 years ago, I was working for the Cleveland Chamber of Commerce, and my best friend and I had the idea to start a yard sale tour because we'd heard of other states doing it. And so we basically asked some towns around us to participate by having all their citywide yard sales the same weekend. And so now it has snowballed. I think we started with like 8 towns, and now we're up to 24 this year.
Wow.
That are all doing their citywide yard sales the same weekend.
It's tripled.
Yes,
Wow.
it is out of control. It's fun though. It's fun.
So you start this 13 years ago, and you think, "Oh, we're lucky to get it started. We'll be lucky to get all that stuff done."
Yeah, the first year we
know.
were like, "This is kind of trial and error. We'll see if this, if people like it or not." And they loved it so much that other towns kept begging to be in it, and so now every year we add a couple more towns, and we joke that it's now the 10,000 mile yard sale.
10,000, adding a few zeros there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's cool. So basically, you're telling people these are towns that are having citywide yard sales.
Each town's kind of responsible for having their own. They put together their own citywide yard sale, and then we promote the overall route. Although the last couple years we have done, because there's been such an outcry from the customers, coming to shop, we have done a master list the last couple years, and then this year we're working on a master map of addresses. Now, some of the towns will still do their own maps, like in their local papers and different things. But we are working on gathering. We're going to start April 1st, gathering everybody's addresses that want to be on it, and then we will put that online for people to access.
And this is, what day is this again? May
5th and 6th.
May 5th and 6th. And so right before, I think you said Mother's Day.
Yeah, it's usually the weekend before Mother's Day. Yeah, the first full weekend of May.
Okay, good. So people can kind of look forward to that. So if you want to take a day trip, or a couple of day trip to go out and see where these are. A lot of people like to do that. I mean, you get out, you kind of see a little bit of Oklahoma, you see a few of these towns, you get to see in a little different aspect of some of these towns, not just driving through on Main Street.
Exactly, and that's kind of why we started it, because we thought this would be a great way to promote tourism in some of the smaller towns in Oklahoma that people don't normally come to. And so, so it's been great for our communities.
Yeah.
I mean, we get tens of thousands of people coming through from all over the United States to shop at these yard sales. So
right, well, that's cool. So, and you put that where you have a website. We're going to list that here in just a minute.
Yes, we have a Facebook page for it that's called Oklahoma 100 Mile Yard Sale Tour.
Okay.
And so, which I think we have about 20,000 members in there now, and that is like the hub for all the information that we have on the yard sale. We do have a website that we use but we just, I don't know, Facebook.
That was a different show, and I should have put that in there so we can kind of see. We'll maybe get that up here in just a little bit. We'll see about that. But so you can go to your Facebook page and get a little more detail on where this is, and you'll constantly update that, and people will know.
Yes, I'm updating it all the time. I'm actually working on this afternoon or this evening. I should have the map of all the cities, so that way everybody can kind of get a visual of where everybody is on there. So
gotcha, very good. Well, good deal. So, and the purpose for that again, this is to promote tourism.
Yes.
Is that right? In Oklahoma?
Promote tourism, get people to our towns, not only to come yard sale, but also to eat at local restaurants, check out some of the shopping.
Sure.
Historic items, in your town, historic places, those kinds of things.
And this was originally, because you were on the board at the Cleveland Chamber of Commerce, is that correct? So that's kind of where the idea was generated.
That's where it generated, yeah. Gotcha. And now I'm on the board of the Pawnee Chamber of Commerce, because that's where my tag office is.
Okay.
And so the Pawnee Chamber is kind of heading this up.
I see. Okay. So they've taken it on as a tourism
official Pawnee Chamber event.
So I know you said, so 24 towns. That's a lot of towns, and you have the list on your phone there.
do
So
have
let's
the
talk
list.
about where some of those, some of the more. Well, you just take them in whatever order you want to. We'll stop and
Okay.
talk about them as we go here a
Okay,
little bit.
yeah.
But,
So, and these are some of the ones that originally started were like Pawnee. I think we had Cleveland. Of course, we had Cleveland in there originally. Manford, Turlton, Hallett, Jennings, Yale. So those were some of the original ones. Now we have added on Morrison, Glencoe, Cushing, Oak Grove, Drumright, Oilton, Stroud, Depew, Bristow, Kellyville, Sapulpa, Sand Springs, Hominy, Winona, Ralston, Westport, Prue, Manford, Turlton, Hallett, Jennings, and Yale.
wow, that's
So
hard to get to in a
it's-
couple days.
yeah.
That's a lot of territory.
I actually shop every year. Last year, I even closed down the tag office just to go shopping, and there's no way you can make it in 2 days.
It's hard to do it.
Yeah, it's just there's so many sales. You can hit 50 or 60 sales in
Yeah,
a day. I mean,
absolutely.
it's crazy. Of course,
Wow.
that's if you're going really fast.
Right.
But some of the vendors will start. Some of the people selling will start on Thursday, and some of them will extend to Sunday. But the official event is just Friday and Saturday.
Gotcha.
So
So
yeah.
they may be going a little bit longer than the 2
Yeah,
days.
because we
but
leave
you-
that up to the individual sellers.
Right.
Because most of these are at people's houses. Now there are some places where there'll be kind of like a flea market type thing set up,
Right.
or vendors or something like that. But we kind of let everybody set their own days and hours.
Very good. Well, that's good. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach this as just a person that wants to travel and see some of this. I mean, there's some historical places. I mean, you mentioned Yale. I mean, Jim
yeah,
Thorpe Museum. There are other
exactly.
things that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can see along the
Mhm.
way if you wanted to stop.
For sure,
So
for sure.
what other interesting places do you have in that list of towns that you would
Well,
point out?
so in Pawnee, the steam engine show will also be going on that same
Oh,
weekend,
okay,
and so
alright.
that's always a big draw. And
Yeah.
of course, the Pawneeville Ranch
Sure.
and the museum there, the Pawnee Nation. I mean, there's just so much to see there.
Right.
So yeah, for sure. And then just every town has kind of their own little things.
Right.
Hominy has their murals, and just something neat in
Yeah,
every
it's
town.
pretty cool. On a lot of these small
Yeah.
towns, you can kind of see the. I mean, a lot of those places are going to show you the history of their town and what
Oh,
they
yeah.
were doing.
For sure.
Way back in the day. I mean, I know in
Mhm.
Cushing here, obviously this was used to be a bustling town of about 30,000 or so, 35,000 back in the 30s,
Right,
20s and 30s.
right,
And so that's when this building, or the rest of this building, was generated. So that's kind of a neat thing. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you mentioned that you have a kind of a historic building in Pawnee that
Mhm.
you're unfortunately renovating. And I say
Yes.
unfortunately because I've been there, done that. So I understand.
Yes,
I understand your
it's
plight.
a lot of work, but yeah, I'm in the my tag office and the Forgotten Oklahoma headquarters are in the most people know it as the old Lions Jewelry Building, but it was
Okay.
actually the Arkansas Valley National Bank, which was owned by Pawnee Bill at one time.
Right. Oh,
It's an
wow.
old corner sandstone bank building that
Yeah.
we've restored, and that's where the tag office is. So yeah,
And if you're like me, you think, oh, this will be a great project. It will be easy, it'll
Yeah.
be quick, we'll get through it. But
Yeah.
then you find out how unique your building really is, right?
yes.
Window sizes, wall thickness,
Oh,
stuff,
yes.
doors,
Oh,
stuff like all that.
It's
That's
been
you don't
a
think about.
lot of work. It's still a work in progress, and it's been 4 years already. So
Yeah.
we'll
well,
get there eventually.
that 6 weeks turns into. I really
Yes.
thought I really had realistic expectations when I bought this building too. I thought, oh, we'll whip it out in a few months. No,
No,
doesn't
no,
quite work
it's
that way.
it's a process, but
Absolutely.
it's worth it.
Right.
you
Well,
know.
and it's cool to have a historic place that
Mhm.
is kind of a neat eye catching. And you had the same issue as we had here with the earthquake, and so that did some
Yes.
damage to your building, and you're still kind of. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
sometimes is still in progress of getting some of the facade
Yes.
work, not
yeah.
necessarily structural work, but facade
right,
work.
Right, and that was our deal. Structurally it was fine. We had an engineer report done,
Right.
and the facade though is what a bunch of it fell off, and then come to find out my whole south wall needed to
Right.
be completely rebuilt, and so we did that, and then money did not allow us to do everything we needed to do,
That's
so
the case. yes.
eventually we're going to have to go back and do some more tuck point and that kind
Right.
of stuff, but for now we should be good, hopefully for another 100 years.
Well,
We'll see.
I've
Hopefully no
always
more earthquakes.
I've always said that it's an ongoing renovation. It just does. It never really stops. I mean, you
Oh,
might take
yeah,
a
no, it
break
doesn't.
for months or a little while, and
Right.
before you start digging into another project. But it's pretty much an ongoing
Mhm.
thing all the time. I mean, if you finish something on the inside, guess what? You go back outside and start working on something
Exactly.
else. So
Yep.
there's always something to be doing. So.
Yes, all the time.
Well, that's pretty cool. Now you mentioned that you also have the tag agency in
Mhm.
Pawnee. I mean, When do you sleep? Do you have any time to?
I don't sleep.
Any time to go on vacation other than shopping?
No, I honestly, I try to really make time to rest and go on vacation. You know,
Right.
I have a couple great employees that my girls, they really help me out a lot
Yeah.
at the tag office.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're one of them is there holding down the fort today. So
Well, that's a challenging business in itself because I
Yeah.
just know here local. I mean, there's been so many changes in.
yes,
Dare I say the word real ID?
Yeah, we
Or
don't wanna talk about
whatever
that.
that is. I
No.
mean, my goodness,
Yeah.
you guys have been through the ringer.
we have been. Yeah,
Obviously, right here in Cushing, I've been in that tag office and talked to
Mm-hmm.
Leanne quite a bit, and also down in Tecumseh, I have another client down there that is very integrated into the tag agency as well. And
Right.
it's like every time you go in there, it's like some new
yes.
mandate has come down from
Yes,
the state, and you've got to
or
make
computer
changes.
issues. We have
Yes.
a lot of computer issues, especially with the driver's license machine. Yesterday it was the tax commission. Well, now it's Service Oklahoma, but
Okay.
yeah, yesterday it was the tag and title machine, and so it's something all the time. But
Sounds better to call it Service Oklahoma, but it's really
Yes,
the tax
it
machine.
it sounds better to call it Service Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
You
but
feel
they
better
are.
about
The
it.
state is trying to improve services for Oklahomans. So we'll see how it plays out. It's still really new that they've
Right.
switched it over, and so you know we're doing the best we can, and you know
Gotcha.
trying. We do have the most unique tag office, I think, just because we're in such a cool building. But,
Right, right.
You know, that's me.
Well, that's the thing too. When you go to these towns and you visit the sales in these towns, just to see the old architecture of some of these places
Mm-hmm. Right.
is pretty unique as well.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
every
for
town's
sure.
a little bit different.
Mhm.
It's a lot the same, but it's a lot unique and different in
Mm-hmm.
everywhere you go. So when we come back, we'll take another quick break here. When we come back, we'll talk about some other things that you're doing as well, photography and. I don't know. You've got like a list of 19 things that you're doing.
I
over
know,
there. I don't know
I
how you
know.
keep up with it all. But anyway, we'll come back and visit about that. But
Okay.
appreciate you being in the studio today. I mean, it's
Yeah, thank
very
you.
interesting, and the 100-mile garage sale tour
Yes.
is a very interesting concept and idea, and that's a cool thing I think for a lot of these towns that are
Thank you.
involved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
we'll
fun.
we'll come back on that here in just a little bit and hear more from you.
We'll be right back.
The studio show is brought to you in part by Stillwater Transfer and Storage and AAA Self Storage.
Well, hello, Whitney. How
Hello,
are you?
John. So here's the proposal packet for the new mobile app.
As long as I'm running this thing, there ain't gonna be no mobile app.
Introducing the new mobile app, making your banking experience even easier. It's so easy, even John can use it. Bank of Cushing, a branch of Blue Sky Bank Pawhuska.
We have a help tab if you need help. We will have.
I don't need help. I'm pretty good at this.
You are good at this.
Since 2003, Pro Events has had one singular focus: great audio, video, and lighting systems. Never confusing our industry with the PC crowd, Pro Events always provides you with the best, most reliable options for your house of worship, school, or corporate training facility. Make your system stand out from the crowd. And remember,
For the best AV, you know where to go visit proevents.pro.
Welcome to the Music Loop. Always wanted to be a better musician? Learn the piano or keyboard? For only $10, you can join our pre-lesson event and find out if the Music Loop is right for you. Learn to play any song in any key, accompany a vocalist, or play with a band. Follow us on Facebook. The Music Loop. Putting you in music.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining. And saying thank you.
At Davis Dental Studio, patients are our friends. Unlike the big commercial facilities, Davis Dental Studios wants you to know you're not just a number. We strive to bring personal and quality to the patient. Dr. Rebecca Davis has over 18 years of experience as a caring and compassionate dentist. She and her highly trained staff will make sure your visit is a positive one. So remember, when you and your family need dental care, Davis Dental Studio. You're not just a patient, you're a friend.
RCB Bank is more than a transaction. We work to make your life easier. We help build your business. We finance your dreams. We grow your legacy. Build relationships with our community. Come in to find out why our customers always say, RCB Bank. That's my bank.
All right, we are back here on the studio show, and we were discussing here a little bit about more of this. So we usually do a what I call kind of a pre-interview. We usually talk on the phone or something. We've been doing most of the text, so we haven't.
Right, we have.
Amy and I haven't met until today, and so we're just kind of catching up on all this stuff in the breaks. But I find this kind of interesting because it's not only an opportunity for the town, and it's not just the thing about being part of this tour. It's not just just usually you're attracting your neighbors or whoever to come by. Hey, some stuff out here for a nickel or a dime or whatever. You're trying to clear stuff out. One man's trash is another man's treasure, right? That kind of concept. But you're saying that the people that's been going with this, and you guys going on in all these towns, people are coming from a long ways away to plan their weekend around this event.
They plan it like as soon as we finish one, they're already asking for the dates for the next one because they're booking hotels. They are getting ready. I mean, we've had people come from as far away. I met a lady one year, California, that was here for it. I had a lady tell me this year, I think she was coming from Oregon, got a plane ticket. They're raring to go. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
And they're showing up. You mentioned that a lot of these people are antique dealers, maybe from other parts of the country, and they're trailers down here.
They're bringing their trailers, box trucks, whatever, and loading up, whatever they can get. And they're not only going to yard sales, but they're also going to flea markets here. And I mean, it's a great opportunity, if you have a business, to really roll out the carpet for these people that are coming from out of state. So.
Well, I mean, I see how especially a town that wants to promote the historic part of that and the local people and the local culture here a little bit. I mean, the more they know about your town, I mean, that's kind of the whole deal in Oklahoma here. 15, 20 years has been try to show people what we really have. I mean, a lot of people have the wrong concept of Oklahoma to start with.
They do, they really do. They think nothing there. It's just boring, and so this is a great opportunity to show people Oklahoma's really amazing.
Here in Cushing, we don't think much of the tank farms, and all that kind of stuff right here. But it really, if you've never seen it before,
it's something to see.
It's something to see.
Oh, yeah,
it's not something you want over. And a lot of these other small towns are the same way. There are things, we mentioned a couple of them, Jim Thorpe Museum and Pawnee Bill and some places like that we don't think much of it because we're local and we see it every day.
Right, we see it every day,
But everybody else, this is new stuff. This is stuff you're stepping back in time, really, to some of these,
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. So, how do you become a seller? How do you get ready for that, or how do you get signed up, and how do you know to communicate? Hey, I'm going to be having a garage sale that day. How do we do that?
We really, we promote it as much locally. Each town kind of promotes their own locally, but of course on the Facebook group, that's kind of, like I said, where the hub of it is. And so we are going to start taking addresses for that on April the 1st. We're going to have something set up where you can go in and put in your address, and then it should populate a map. Fingers crossed. This is a new thing for this year.
Okay.
And then also we are encouraging people to put it on the G-Seller app, because there is a garage sale app there, and that way people can put it on their phones and just click on a small description of what you have, and they can kind of map themselves that way too. Right. The main thing is that we really want people that are selling to put. That is the big we have every year, is that they couldn't find it. Yeah. And so, put a sign on the closest highway pointing your direction. Just wherever you can, put out those signs, because that's what people are looking for. Right. Because even if they can't find you on the map, if they see a yard sale sign, they're pulling over. So that's the main thing. And then also, if they're going We also need to know that because people get really, really angry whenever they drive to one and nobody's
If
there.
I've driven here from Oregon and I can't find your place, I'm
or
a little upset.
you're driving
yeah.
way out in the country, trying to
Yeah,
on the list, and then you drive all the way there and there's nothing there. Oh, people get really mad. They get mad at me.
Yeah, well,
and
of
I'm
course,
like,
of course
I can't
they do.
control this.
You're the first person I could talk to. I couldn't find it, Amy. It's your fault.
I know. They're like really mad at me, and I'm like, I didn't do it. I'm just trying to coordinate everybody.
Well, that's but what an opportunity though, because if you've kind of planned, I think that's kind of the idea. You know, they're used to, years ago, maybe 20 years ago, you would find these corners in a town, and it would be a billboard, you know, and everybody would go up there and pin, I'm having a garage sale this weekend, this week. I mean, it's all over the place. You don't know how to, but at least we're kind of a little more organized here, and this is something that people can come visit your town. Now, you may say, well, why is that interesting to me? Well, if I'm a restaurant owner, if I'm a business owner, if I'm a hotel owner, if I'm anything that has to do with people traveling through my town, this could benefit you. So this generates business for the community as a whole.
Oh yeah, 100%. In fact, we've been told in the past that some of the local restaurants and like gas stations and stuff, it's one of their busiest days of the year.
Wow.
And so, be prepared for an influx of people if you own a business.
Yeah, convenience stores, all sorts of things.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, that's, again, what a great way to expose your town to shoppers, people that are coming intentionally to your town to spend money. Now, if I'm with the Chamber of Commerce in any of these towns, I'm thinking that's exactly what we're trying to do, is it not?
Exactly. So, yes. And most of the towns that we are dealing with, their chambers are the ones that are kind of in charge. Either their chamber or their city are kind of the ones organizing it on a local level. Right. And they've been fantastic. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So you're working pretty closely with those as well, coordinating how that all gets done.
Yep.
So if I'm just an individual out there, how do I get in touch with someone to know that, hey, I'm going to be having is it too late now to get in touch with someone about sale?
So we'll start taking addresses April the 1st, and then I also have a contact person for each town. And so if you have a specific town that you're going to be selling in, then let us know. Send me a message on Facebook through the yard sale page or something like that, and then we can get you in touch with your local contact. And we get a lot of questions about vendors, and not every town will have vendors, and so we should have a list of those towns that will have vendors so that you'll know where you can set up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So this takes a little bit of the guesswork out of what was really just a shot in the dark. If you're going to have a garage sale, you hope people show up, buy my stuff.
This is the prime time. Like if you're cleaning out your shed or whatever, then now's the time, because we're literally going to be bringing tens of thousands of shoppers to you. So it's a great
what an
time.
Opportunity. All those people coming from California or New York or wherever, you're like, I had stuff, I was going to mark this $5, but if you're coming from California, I might mark it $50 and get a chance to sell this to somebody and make some real money here, right?
Yeah, perfect time.
So an opportunity, if you're going to sell some stuff, and really, that's what you want too. You want people to say, hey, this is the right time of year.
Yes.
This is where I can probably get the most bang for my buck as well. For my time I'm going to spend putting all this together.
Right.
I'm going to have the most eyes on this stuff. I'm going to probably sell it out quickly.
Yeah, and a lot of people do sell out. Yeah. And we also encourage them, like if you do sell out the first day, to go ahead and post it in the group, and that way people kind of know, and we can put a thing out saying, hey, this one's closed, they've sold out, because we have that happen quite frequently.
Sure. Well, I know there are some people out there very, 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 very serious about their garage sale tactics, and I mean, some people are showing up at crack of dawn.
They will be waiting outside your house at like 6 a.m. ready to come in, But yeah, I mean, gosh, there was one group of ladies that, and I think they still do it. They have like a bus. They all load up on this bus, and they're serious. They're out there. They're ready to roll. People make T-shirts for it. We've had people that we're talking about making T-shirts this year to sell, but yeah, we've had other groups that have like made these coordinating T-shirts, like we're going yard selling. Yeah. So it's a big deal. Perfect time.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's all very interesting. That's kind of a cool way to reorganize that whole, because typically, I mean, a garage sale at best is a shot in the dark.
Exactly.
If you don't know if you're going to get anybody attracted to it. And boy, if you don't have to go out and do all the work, the marketing work, if you're having a garage sale, I got to put up a flyer here, I got to go down here, I got to get on this website, I got to do all this stuff. What an opportunity for you just to kind of be a part of the whole thing and sit back and let people come to you.
Exactly.
And you're just so much easier.
Throw out a few signs and watch them roll in.
Yeah, absolutely. What you would spend doing all the other driving around, all the stuff you can do with really getting people right to your location and hopefully you get rid of all the stuff you want trying to get rid of, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I probably need to do that myself.
I need to also, but I like to shop.
I could have a big electronic sale if you like, you know, 5 or 10-year-old equipment that we've quit using, you know, or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So it might be actually a good idea, but I'm sure a lot of people, you know, antique shoppers and that kind of thing.
Yes.
That's a big deal. I mean,
Yes.
you hear the word pickers now all the time. You know, probably a ton of people
and that's
that do
where
that kind of thing.
that was our original thing. Was we said calling all pickers. This is your chance.
This is your
now
day.
this year's theme is there junk in your trunk?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So that's
So it's junk in the trunk.
Is there junk in your trunk? So get your junk out, sell it. So yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, so interesting. And so you've had different themes over different years? When did you start doing
kind of off and on. I mean, we started out with the is there junk in your trunk and the calling all pickers thing for a few years. And then we kind of got off track and didn't really have a theme this year. I was like, we should go back to the original.
Yeah.
You know, just because it's fun. We used to have T-shirts that said, is there junk in your trunk? Yeah.
I love the double entendres on that. Well, that's great. Well, we're gonna cover a few more things when we come back. We keep saying we're going to talk about all the other stuff that you do, which we're going to do that when we come back. So, but if you're not involved in this, and Cushing is involved this year, right?
Cushing is involved, yes.
So if you're in Cushing and you know this is coming up on May 5th and 6th, then you know it's your opportunity to get all that organized.
Yes, we need lots of sellers in Cushing.
And so, man, if you're gonna sell something in Cushing on a citywide garage sale day, shouldn't you just go ahead and let everybody know, because you have such a potential of getting more people to come put eyes on your stuff that you're trying to get rid of, the junk in your trunk.
Yes,
you can get rid of it a little bit easier, because who knows? I mean, you think, I'm going to put this thing out there. I don't want it, but how many other people are looking for that exact thing?
That's right.
It makes you wonder. So, and how many people have you had any stories about? I'm going to ask you about that when we come back. You have any stories of people really finding some valuable stuff in some of these garage sales?
I don't know about valuable, but we have a most unique item contest, which is pretty hilarious.
Okay, well, we'll come back and talk about that here in just a little bit, and see what's up with the most unique item they found in the 100-mile garage sale tour. So, Amy Hedges, thank you again. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
At Davis Dental Studio, our patients are our friends. Unlike the big commercial facilities, Davis Dental Studios wants you to know you're not just a number. We strive to bring personal and quality service to each patient. Dr. Rebecca Davis has over 18 years of experience as a caring and compassionate dentist. She and her highly trained staff will make sure your visit is a positive one. So remember, when you and your family need dental care, Davis Dental Studio. You're not just a patient, you're a friend.
Well, hello, Whitney. How are you?
John. So here's the proposal packet for the new mobile app.
As long as I'm running this thing, there ain't gonna be no mobile app.
Introducing the new mobile app, making your banking experience even easier. It's so easy, even John can use it. Bank of Cushing, a branch of Blue Sky Bank, Pawhuska.
We have a help tab if you need help. We will have...
I don't need help. I'm pretty good at this.
You are good at this.
Since 2003, Pro Events has had one singular focus: great audio, video, and lighting systems. Never confusing our industry with the PC crowd, Pro Events always provides you with the best, most reliable options for your house of worship, school, or corporate training facility. Make your system stand out from the crowd. And remember,
For the best AV, you know where to go visit proevents.pro.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
RCB Bank is more than a transaction. We work to make your life easier. We help build your business. We finance your dreams. We grow your legacy. We build relationships with our communities. Come in to find out why our customers always say, RCB Bank. That's my bank.
Welcome to the Music Loop. Always wanted to be a better musician? Learn the piano or keyboard? For only $10, you can join our pre-lesson event and find out if the Music Loop is right for you. Learn to play any song in any key, accompany a vocalist, or play with a band. Follow us on Facebook. The Music Loop. Putting you in music. The studio show is brought to you in part by Stillwater Transfer and Storage and AAA Self-Storage.
All right, we are back here with Amy Hedges in the 100-mile garage sale tour. It's the most interesting concept I've heard of, but I think it's actually a great concept. What it's really good, though, again, this was a Chamber of Commerce idea from Cleveland, and now you're doing it in Pawnee. So, but the point is that it's going to draw a bunch of people to your town, and so you know the ancillary businesses are going to benefit from that. Your town, you know, sales tax revenue, all that other kind of stuff is going to increase because there's an influx of people coming through.
Exactly.
And you think that this is way beyond probably the 100 miles. We're talking about...
yeah, it really is. We joke around about it being 10,000 miles, but it's honestly probably closer to 250, 300 miles.
Yeah.
If you were to drive the whole thing, I don't really know, but yeah, it's definitely well over 100 miles.
You said you couldn't drive it in 2 days, so it was
yeah,
to get to every sale.
I mean,
and
to
get
to every sale, every town, there's just no way.
Yeah.
There's just no way. We usually try to do the top part, you know, the northernmost part the first day, and then the second day we do the southernmost, but there's just no way to get through all that.
So something interesting you mentioned during the break was you have a couple of little competitive things for the sellers to do. So what are those?
Yes, so we do for the buyers, we do a most unusual item contest.
Gotcha.
So the most unusual item that you find at a yard sale, and you don't have to purchase it, but you just have to take a picture. And what we do is we will have like a pin thread in the group where you would get on there. It's 1 entry per person. You post your picture of your most unusual item, and then we give you a couple days to people will vote by liking it. Whoever gets the most likes wins a gift basket. And then we also do a most unusual yard sale sign contest, which has been a lot of fun. We've seen a ton of creative stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool.
So that begs a great follow-up question here. I have to know, what is the most interesting thing you think you've found at one of these garage sales so far?
So last year the winner was some 1940s breast pumps.
1940s breast pumps.
Yes, and then we've also had a like a toilet paper roll cleaning aid type of thing was a couple years ago. I mean, we've seen some really random stuff that people are selling, and of course, it's so much fun. You know, we get a good laugh out of it.
Breast pumps from the 1940s. Though.
Yeah,
I'm a little set
Somebody
back
still had
by
it laying
that.
around.
Yeah, I've been having to get the signal. What are those over in the corner of the garage? Well, those are my 1940s breast pumps.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, so I don't even really want to know what those look like, but I didn't you know, are they made out of straw or something? I don't know.
I think it was glass.
Glass. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
I know. Yeah.
I didn't even know they had such a thing.
I didn't either, but you learn something new. Literally every year we learn something new. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, and people really get competitive with it too. And we do, you know, whoever gets the most likes by a certain, like midnight on a certain day or whatever, they win the gift. So.
Yeah. So they get a little gift basket from participating. Then it kind of makes the whole thing a little more fun and exciting, I guess, for everybody.
Exactly.
So, well, very good. Well, listen, if you guys haven't, if you haven't signed up to participate to sell on this weekend, you know, get in touch with Amy, get in touch with, and we'll post. Matter of fact, I think it should be on our Facebook page now. I should already have the 100-mile yard sale tour information up there. You can get a hold of Amy there and go by there, and we'll probably post some additional things. I'll have her give me the Facebook page, a link, and all that kind of stuff. We'll post that there for you too, so you can get involved and do that. Yeah. What a cool thing. And you said if you're a business and say you want to advertise your restaurant or say, hey, come, you can stay here. Here's good hotels. We have good restaurants. We have places, gas stations, convenience stores, whatever you need. We've got it right here. If you want to advertise, there's like a $10 charge to be in that, so people can kind of
we haven't exactly decided yet. Last year was $10. It's probably going to be the same this year. We haven't had our meeting yet to discuss all the final details.
Gotcha.
But there will be a small charge for businesses to be listed on the master list. But that master list is going to go out to thousands upon thousands of people and helps them plan their route.
Yeah.
And so that's a great deal for businesses to get on there, and that money just goes towards advertising the event. So.
Sure. Well, that's a good deal. And then, especially if you're a business and I know what I would do if I were traveling to all these towns. I'd want to know, well, which town am I going to be in about noon?
Exactly.
Which town am I going to be in?
Where's a good place to eat lunch?
Where I can eat breakfast, or whatever.
Exactly.
Some places you may not know, so you might want to get involved that way too as well. So that's another good way to do it. All right. Well, we want to talk about some of the plethora of other things that you do.
Right.
We've already mentioned the tag agency. You own that and do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's your kind of normal day job.
Yep,
but
that's my day job.
You're also a photographer as well. Is that right?
I am a photographer.
Okay.
And I mostly photograph abandoned buildings for my Forgotten Oklahoma group. I also do family and senior photography and those kinds of things. I've recently shot a couple weddings, which I had kind of retired from. I've done photography for about 10 years, and weddings are just really exhausting.
A little stressful.
Very
sometimes.
stressful. Yeah. So I don't really do those unless it's like, close friend or family member, but, all other types of photography I do. So.
Very good. So a lot of that, do you have in this building you have in Pawnee? Is that a studio location or is that?
No, I really do mostly outdoor photography.
Okay.
I have a page. It's called Ranch Creek Photography and a website. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll go there and visit that too. If you have a need for some photography, that's a good place to go there. Now you mentioned weddings. You kind of retired from the wedding thing, but I take it that means that you're dipping your foot back into the wedding scene a little bit. How are you doing that?
So 2 years ago, my husband and I bought a old abandoned home in Pawnee on 7 acres. It's on Black Bear Creek, and we are turning that into a bed and breakfast and a wedding venue.
Oh, wow.
And so we've actually hosted multiple weddings on our farm, and most recently was our daughter's wedding last year in April. We had over 300 guests.
Wow.
So, hey, I figured if I can do that at my own house, then we can do this at a wedding venue, although it's going to be kind of like you rent the space, stay there, rent the whole house, and then you're in charge of bringing everything else because I don't have time to plan a whole wedding just because I'm so busy.
Right.
But it's a beautiful area.
It gives it a venue and an opportunity for somebody. We hear people all the time asking that question, what's a venue? Is there a venue close that I can?
Right.
And really, any of these towns around here are not more than 20 or 30 minutes away anyway, so it may not be a bad idea. But but there are a few places, but then what are the amenities? What's it like?
Right. Well, this one's going to be unique because a lot of the wedding venues, especially ones that can hold larger groups, you can't spend the night there. And so this one will have, the whole house. Whenever you rent it for your wedding, you'll be able to rent the whole entire house so that your bridal party can stay, family can stay, whoever. And so you'll get the whole property.
Places to change, places to get ready, places to prepare. So
honeymoon suite, all of that
stuff
will be included.
I got you.
Yeah.
So that is, you just bought that property, or are you in the middle of renovating that?
So we bought it 2 years ago. It was a whole thing to try to get the title straightened out. Long story short. But it had been abandoned for about 10 years. It was built in 1900.
Oh, wow.
Really neat old sandstone home. Of course, with Forgotten Oklahoma, I'm really into historic preservation. So I was like, somebody needs to save this house,
Gotcha.
So right now, we just got pre-approved for our business loan on it to do construction. And we're hoping to get started on construction in the next 3 or 4 months, probably, because it's a SBA loan. It takes a little bit longer,
Right.
And I don't know how long construction is going to take, but that's kind of where we're at right now. We've done some cleaning of the property, cleaning it out, cleaning up some of the land and stuff. So
get the destruction part out of the way so you can start the construction part of it.
Because it was a mess.
Absolutely.
It was a mess.
Well, that's, gosh, I've learned this morning that you're a glutton for punishment so far.
I am.
From the tag agency,
I'm like, what was I thinking?
Tag agency to wedding photography to wedding venues to bed and breakfast. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, and then my other job, which is kind of a full-time job, is the Forgotten Oklahoma group, because I have
tell us about that.
Almost 137,000 members in there.
Wow.
And that's all Oklahoma history. And so I spend a lot of my time on my phone or my laptop moderating the group, kind of dealing with that. We get a lot of visitors from Forgotten Oklahoma to the tag office.
Right.
Because, it's an old historic building. So they want to come
Place
and see it and visit
yeah.
and, all of that. And so So yeah, I'm
So
very
really,
busy.
you really are an inside track to most of the historical places in the state of Oklahoma that you can kind of know where all those are.
Right.
You could
Yeah,
do
we
a
have
great deal to
huge database of
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you this question. So what do you think the most interesting place that most people don't know about it, that haven't visited? I mean, we know where the main things are around here. Of course, again, we mentioned that we're used to all that, so we may not think about it. But what do you think, in your opinion, is a good place to visit that people wouldn't know about it?
Oh gosh, I don't know. There's just so many. There's just so many. One of my favorite places that is kind of a hidden gem is the old Opera House in Ralston.
Ralston?
Yeah, Ralston, which a lot of people, except for from this area, might know, but most people in the state of Oklahoma probably don't know that Ralston has a really amazing opera house.
Wow, I've been through there. Never knew.
Yeah,
never knew
it's
this.
upstairs in one of the old antique stores there.
Okay.
And that group up there has done an amazing job trying
Wow.
to, restore that and keep
Preserve
it
it,
going. And so it's really neat. They show movies and stuff in there.
Really?
And then my sister-in-law, she owns the Buffalo Theater in Pawnee, and a lot of people didn't know that was there either. And she's
Okay.
been having concerts and things there. It's so neat. So
Now, there used to be a place in Pawnee. I was in a band or two that played up there in Pawnee at one time. Buffalo, gosh. It was right there on the main drag in Pawnee. And
probably
I'm trying
was
to
the
think.
Buffalo Theater.
Maybe it was,
Yeah,
something like that.
because it's
So
like a
it
big
was-
long
Yeah,
building
yeah,
with
yeah.
all the seats in there. Yep, she just recently bought it.
Wow.
And is finishing the restoration process on it, and she's got bands booked all the time.
Wow.
So it's really neat.
Another venue for that kind of stuff. I mean, it's
yeah.
it's kind of, I think with the emphasis, like I said, there's been an emphasis on tourism in Oklahoma for some time now, and starting to trickle down to even the smaller towns. People are taking
for sure.
a look at that again and saying, hey, there's some value here, and more things like that for people to do. And again, if this is something like just the garage sale tour thing is one concept to get them to your town. There's a great reason to go because you want to buy the antiques and want to buy all that stuff. But when you're there, you have all this other stuff you can look at and visit.
Yeah, because normally during the yard sale tour, it goes through Ralston, and they usually have the Opera House open for tours that day. And so you can go through Ralston, shop all the yard sales, and see the antique store downstairs, and then go and take a tour of the upstairs. Don Taylor, my friend there that has that, he gives tours all day long during the yard sale.
Wow.
And everybody's like, I didn't even know this existed.
Exactly.
And it's amazing.
Well, I know even some of the movies that have been shot in rural Oklahoma in the last year or two. Fairfax is one of those where they've basically come in and they'll make a completely perfectly paved street dirt like it was back in the 1920s and 1900s.
They did that in Ralston too.
Yeah.
I went there for the filming in Ralston. Yeah. It was really neat.
So there's a lot of cool things that are. And listen, it's not necessarily it's cool that they're making a movie in Oklahoma, but what the real benefit to that is hundreds of people come into your town when you're doing something like that. And again, restaurants and hotels and all the things that convenience stores, all that kind of stuff, all flourish because of those people have to get. They have to eat. They have to sleep. They have to do all that stuff.
They spend money there.
So absolutely, and that is the point of tourism is that it's all the ancillary businesses that benefit your community, and that only makes it better for everybody. So if you're a small business owner, you really want to see that kind of stuff going.
For sure.
So, what else do you have that's kind of interesting about any of that stuff we've talked about? I mean, my goodness, you pick any subject, Amy. My gosh, you're doing a lot.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. I just I never dreamed that, of course, the Forgotten Oklahoma group would get so big and lead me into all of these things, because really starting the Forgotten Oklahoma group, which started with my photography, has kind of led me into, then getting the building in Pawnee and becoming the tag agent so that I could save the building, and then getting the property that's going to be the wedding venue. And it's just been amazing, You just never know where your life will take you. I never dreamed that this would happen.
Well, I think one cool thing, that you mentioned that you're doing is you take these old buildings and you make something new and modern on the inside, but it's still the historic. It still has all the historic stuff in it. All the rooms are there, all that stuff is there, and you recycle that, and basically you're making it new. That's the historic. You got to be kind of I think there's probably something wrong with this a little bit to do that because it looks. I mean, it's just not for everybody, but it's
not
important
for
for people that do it.
Yes,
It's important
yes.
for people because it saves these buildings and it keeps them preserved for years and years and years to
Right.
come.
Because let me tell you, it would be much cheaper
Oh,
to
yeah.
go in and build a new house and do a venue or whatever. But I really want to like honor the historic, you know, the history of this old house. And so we actually have salvaged other old houses and taken materials out of them to put in this house, which is going to be way more expensive, way more work. But, you know, I want to do it right if I'm going to do it, you know, because that's the whole point is historic preservation.
Well, you know, for people like me who are flat out tightwads when it comes to, I'll just be honest, you know, about restoring, remodeling a building. You know, when you take out a lot of walls and lath and plaster, I'm sure you've experienced the fun of lath and plaster. But you know, you harvest this old wood, and that stuff. I mean, a 2x4 was 2 inches by 4 inches.
Yes, it was.
They're
the
solid.
Materials were so much better quality.
And they're
so much
it's not like today. It's not like just to get by with what you can get by with. The 2x4s have shrunk in size and gone up in price, right? So it kind of makes sense to, you know, cleaning nails. I mean, you're cleaning nails out of wood. You're doing all this stuff, but it really does. That's part of the preservation process because if you can use that stuff back in there, old windows, old transom windows, all that kind of stuff is very cool. So, well, that's good to hear that you're doing that. We appreciate that.
It's exciting.
Well, we want to thank you very much for coming in and sharing all that with us. And again, if you want to be involved in the garage sale, if you're thinking about it, hey, we should put all this stuff in a garage sale. Listen, you got a chance because people may be coming from way far away that may think your trash is the exact treasure they want today.
Yes, it amazes me what people will buy at a yard sale.
Almost anything.
I mean, I've seen some really random stuff.
I've always heard the stories of people. You know, I stumbled across a yard sale and I bought a Stradivarius violin for $10.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was worth $1 million or something like that. Which I don't know that. We thought we had one of those, and it was not. It was not. We still have it, but it's probably worth about. Bought it for 10. It's probably worth 8.
Right.
So that's more how it goes for us. But but you never know what you're going to come across.
You never
People
know.
get rid of things.
You honestly have no idea what you're going to come across. I've come across some really cool antiques that are going to go into my bed and breakfast, my Riverside home. So.
Perfect way to decorate that kind of stuff.
It is. I'm like ready. I'm like, let's get a trailer this year and we'll load up stuff to furnish the house, you know? So
pickers call it, a lot of these places have repop stuff, which has been stuff that's made to look like it's aged and old. But when you really have the authentic thing, you can see that. There's a lot of, it's really cool, you know? So anyway, but you know, if you're one of these towns in this yard sale tour or one of the sellers, I mean, you've got a real opportunity here. To show your stuff, you know, on this weekend and kind of attract people why your town is great and why your town is a good community like it is to live in. So, great opportunity for all these towns and all these places. Anything else you want to throw in before we sign off here tonight?
I don't think so. Just people can watch out for the red and black or the yellow and black highway signs we'll be putting out. But yeah, we're gonna be ready to roll. So. They can join the group, and we'll have all the latest info on there. I'm going to be updating it almost daily with new info. So,
all right. Well, we'll get that posted over on our Facebook page as well. So if you want to get involved in that, you'll be able to click on that stuff and get a look at all that information for you. So, Amy, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate you being on the studio show. This is like our fourth one. I'm losing track now. It's been a busy week, but appreciate you coming in. And maybe we'll have you back and kind of find out how everything's going, and if your wedding venue's up and running and all that good stuff, if you survive long enough to do all that.
It's going to be exhausting.
All right. Well, Amy, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we'll see everybody here next time. Now, tonight, a memorable special airing of the candidates forum will be on, and so you don't want to miss that. And then we'll have all sorts of good stuff. Charlie Hickman next week. Terry Brandon the week after that, city manager, lots of good stuff coming up, and so we'll hear all the latest of what's going on in Cushing. So, Amy, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
And we will see everybody next time on the studio show. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the studio show. People, community, progress.